Hi everyone, I hope you've been well. Before I realized I had to do a video, I wrote out my homework. So I'm going to be reading and speaking and reading and speaking at the same time. So forgive me for that. But what I wanted to say is that I've done my fair share of resume and cover letter writing. So the logistical part of the process, I feel pretty confident about. What would help build my confidence is choosing the best areas of all of my administrative work. What are the best parts to include that it's not sort of overrun with just information, but relevant, how to include relevant information. And from the readings, it seems that a resume should be a minimum of 2 pages, which a career coach friend of mine totally insists on. But again, in the readings, it talked about that you could have, if you're including a CV, more than 2 pages. So I think currently my resume is 2 pages. So I think how to keep it to a minimum, even because of the experience that I have in terms of courses and experience in psychotherapy, it may even just be 1 page. So I think just being able to include the relevant information. Knowing that Jen will be there to critique my resume and give us feedback is really just really helpful. And I think that you'd be able to help in terms of formatting and being able to extrapolate what information is relevant, what should be included, and what's just like long and not involved and doesn't sort of help in terms of transferability of skills or relevant information. I'm excited because I'm feeling the part of me that's wanting to be able to integrate sort of my administrative work and what I've been doing and sort of include now my psychotherapy work. And so that's sort of making me feel sort of excited and making things feel a little more realistic in terms of practicum. So I'm really happy about that. Valid experiences to include. For me, I would include things like my organizational skills, my experience as a computer science advisor, and mostly sometimes it's just transactional work that I do with students, but sometimes there is some quality of counseling that goes on. So the student that comes in that's stressed and needs to help sort of maneuvering next steps. So definitely I would include that information. My volunteer work, which would include work that I've done in adult literacy, which is a passion of mine. So I would definitely include that. Communication skills, my emotional maturity, and any work experience, like I mentioned, in terms of psychotherapy. And that for me would include the work that I've done as a certified integral coach. So definitely I would include those things. The other thing I was thinking about is fundraising. So I've done some of that where I work now. And so I was thinking, would that be relevant? So I wouldn't think to include that, but that would be a question I would have Jen help me respond to. So things I wouldn't include would be anything that was negative, I guess, if I were fired, for example, or had disciplinary action brought against me. Things that would simply just raise questions about my person and, sort of integrity things. So I feel like, I would probably hesitate to include those. And also anything that's like totally dated or in terms of experience. But although I think that it could be that you have transferable skills that could be used even if you did something some 20 years ago that might seem relevant and be brought into the current situation that for the position that you would be applying for or I would be applying for. The other thing I would say that came up that I was thinking about is in terms of if you're including references in your resume or cover letter, to include references that were where people would give you positive references. I've had a couple of folks that I know that they got negative reference. They included people that they thought would give them positive references, and it turned out that they got negative references by this person. So I would say to be mindful of giving references that would not be in your favor or in my favor. And for just overall, I think it's important to give, and present myself in a positive way, be sincere and truthful, don't fabricate any events or experiences. And it's important for my resume to sound sort of upbeat and interested in the position that I'm applying for, so that my cover letter, would grab the interview committee, and then hopefully I get an interview and can further impress the committee. So definitely, that foot in the door experience. So I'm over 6 minutes now, so I just want to say thank you for listening and look forward to any feedback that you may have. Thank you. Bye.